what we did here, we came up with the equation y equals -1x plus 5 as being our transversal line, okay? Could that have been a different equation? Could I have drawn my transversal different than what I just drew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have, right? A transversal just goes through both lines. So this is one of many transversals, actually probably an infinite number of transversals that you could get through there. Okay, so transversals are ones that you can actually choose. There's an infinite amount of different ones. So there's an infinite number of transversals. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to try to find a transversal that is perpendicular to both lines. We want to get a transversal that is perpendicular to both lines. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So does anybody want to tell me how they might draw it so it's perpendicular to both of these lines? We want it to put right angles up there. Yes.
Measure them so it's 90.
Okay, we could measure it with a compass. No, protractor, sorry. Measure it with a protractor, get 90 degrees, and then draw that line. Yes.
Never mind.
Yes.
We could go to a point on line L and then do the opposite slope that it is, like the opposite slope to
Just like a negative.
Yeah.
like
Remember I said there was one more condition on the slope. You're hitting it, but I'm going to tell you. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
like
So-
we could go -2 over -5 or -2 over 5.
Ah, yes, that is what a perpendicular line is. Okay, so if we know the parallel line slope, the slope of perpendicular lines, exactly what he said, lines, is the opposite reciprocal. Okay, so in this case, my slope is 5/2 for L. My slope for my new transversal, which I'll call N now, which we're going to draw, will be -2/5. Notice, this one's positive, this one's negative. That's what it means to be opposite. One is positive, one is negative. Okay? Reciprocal means flip the fraction. Okay? Now remember, in our exercise before, we came up with lines that were perpendicular. Okay? They form 90-degree angles. Remember, those slopes were this. M equals 1 and M equals -1. And from that, this was from our last section that we were working on, okay? We found out those were perpendicular. But look how it actually fits both cases. Has to be perpendicular reciprocal. That's not the right word. It has to be opposite reciprocals. What is 1/1? Is that not what M is? 1/1? What is the reciprocal of 1/1?
1/1.
1/1. That's why you didn't see it. So the reciprocal that's perpendicular is -1/1. But I flipped it, but you can't tell I flipped it because they're the same. Okay, so that's what happens on those. Because they were 1 and -1, you couldn't tell. By the way, this is the symbol for perpendicular. You put basically a little post that sticks up. And that's what you get for perpendicular. Okay. So we could actually, let's just choose a point on line L. Let's choose this one. So here's my point. I want to make a line that's perpendicular. So that means I'm going to use the slope up or down 2/5 from there. So we're going to go down 2, 1, 2. You'll do this much better than I will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then down 2. 1, 2, 3.
That doesn't look perpendicular.
That's not right. I'm sorry.
Do you do it off the y-intercept?
Yeah, no, we can do it from here. I just did it wrong because I went backwards. Okay, it's down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's perfect.
Okay. And then that will give us a line that we can draw and they should be perpendicular. So count down 2 from here. So we're using this, down 2 and over 5. Get that point, then draw a line between these points. It should be perpendicular.
Between what
Okay.
points?
So from here, we're gonna go down 2 and over 5. Okay, and then you're gonna draw a line there. And it does look perpendicular, doesn't it? I mean,
Wait,
yeah,
right here.
yeah, right there. And
Like
you're
this?
gonna connect those,
Ah,
okay? That should
Yeah.
be perpendicular.
Just the two.
So from here,
Like tell me
we're
when
gonna go
yours.
down 1, 2, and go over 5. And then I think you might have went 6. 1, 2.
I'm breathing
Oh, no, you
in
didn't.
that
Okay,
thing.
now connect those, and that should give you a perpendicular line through both.
Like this? 1, 2,
Over 5.
3, 4, 5.
Yep,
Do this
now
one.
connect this point and that point.
Okay.
Should give you a line perpendicular. Let's make sure everybody's got it here. Okay, so from here, we're gonna go down and then over 5. And- Okay, and they do look perpendicular, right? They do. If
Yeah.
I turn them this way, they look perpendicular.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's how you check it, you just turn it and see if it looks. Okay, so from here, yes, you went down 2, yep, and that's right angle, yes. Good job, good job. Okay, so this is kind of a key thing. The slope of perpendicular lines is the opposite reciprocal, and the slope of parallel lines are identical. Those are two things to keep in mind. Those are two of the really big things to keep in mind. The other things that we've been doing are really just reviews of how to do -2/5 to get your next point, okay? We've also been talking about how do we find equations for lines. That's really what we've been working on, is finding equations. So could somebody now, or all of you, find the equation for this line? We already know what the slope is. So what's the only thing we have to find? It's the only thing we have to find. If we know what the slope is, this is line N. This is line N, okay? What is the slope of line N? We just used it. Yes, David? -2/5. So if we're looking for the equation, we already know what the slope is. So the equation for this line is going to be y equals -2/5x plus b. We do not know what b is yet, okay? Find b right now. Use the information you have, find b.
Oh, it's gonna be like. We're gonna have to like find like a decimal. Cause it doesn't.
No.
do exactly.
It might be a decimal, yes, you have to find it. If it doesn't go through an exact point, remember you can find it by using putting the x, put 1 point in there and see what it turns out to be. Find 1 point in there and see what it turns out to be.
Negative 2/5 times 5. I need my calculator.
Just tell them if you
It
just.
would be negative 2.5.
Yeah.
Negative 2.5 times
Wait,
5.
no, it's,
But-
that's x. That's supposed to be x, and y, it's the channel, it's going down -2, so you should put that at y.
Where's my calculator?
No, this is that.
Negative.
Yeah, but look, it's going, this line, it's going down to, it's not going back to, it's going down to, and so it'd be x, -2. This
Remember,
would be
find a point on your line,
-2.
plug it in as
Okay,
the
y
x
equals
and
negative
y
2.
in your equation, and get the value for b.
And -2.
No.
It's -2 and positive, what's your equation?
Negative, wait, that's wrong, 'cause that's not a point.
Find a point, you know a point right there, or you know this point.
Negative, well, yeah, so -2, 3. Right?
It would be, oh, yes, the way you wrote it, yes. The point is 3, -2, but you put the y in the right spot, so.
So the.
Mine wouldn't work. Mine would.
So it's
Hmm.
Look at something else.
-2 divided by 5
Oh,
times 3.
what is the point here? It's not.
So -2
No,
equals
that's the.
negative 1.2
We went
plus
through
b.
this point.
So you have to
Remember?
plus
Yes.
'Yes,
1.2.
we went through that
Plus
point, so it's actually
1.2.
0, -2.
B equals 0.8.
It doesn't,
And
no,
that looks about right.
no,
Negative.
Oh, wait a second.
from here goes down.
Y equals
to-
-2.
Oh, I see what point you were doing, I see
Yeah.
what point you were doing.
I found it, Miss
Actually, that would have been easier. I'm gonna do it.
It's negative, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one also.
That's a lot easier.
What'd you get?
So, I got the equation, so
Did you guys see it?
Okay, so now do the work.
I know, but I don't know what -2.
Use 2 and 3, that's fine.
Put a 1 underneath, please
Yes.
multiply straight across.
I'm not even
Yeah, you can also do 0 and -2.
I got it.
I'll be right there.
I
don't know.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
point are you
No,
putting
yeah.
in?
I'm making that.
No, it would be
Negative
positive,
2,
'cause
negative 1.
two
No.
negatives, two
What is that
negatives.
point?
But then you have to subtract.
Negative 2, -1.
No, it's -2, 0.
Oh,
You have to
you're
subtract
fine.
Okay,
it.
so I wanna put -2 and 0 in. This is your x, this
So,
is your
2
y.
negative.
Goes in.
I thought it was -1 because I just
Then you have
Okay,
to
let's
subtract
see.
it, so that's on this side of the equation. So that equals
Negative 0.8.
Right?
That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
decimal, yes.
I was
okay, that is a
confused, I thought
decimal.
you were saying when you
No,
multiply.
I know it's a decimal.
When you
No.
multiply it, I was
It's the
like,
correct
it's
decimal, but it's usually right as a fraction, but it's okay, I'll take that, that is correct.
Yeah, I just like, I always forget how to like do a fraction times.
I know you guys do, that's why I'm practicing this. What are you getting there, Gert?
Alright,
Okay, I can make it into a,
We know the slope of this line, right? It's -2/5. We need to now put 1 point in to find the y-intercept. We know it's gonna be really close to
Oh,
1.
yeah, oh, I forgot to plug it in.
One, but we don't know exactly what it's gonna be.
Okay.
So you have
okay,
to plug
negative
the point in.
4/5.
Yes. Okay, how'd you do? Yeah, so now write the equation all the way up, y equals -2.
Alright, I did it.
4/5.
Yes, that's correct.
Either or works, I mean.
So put the equation itself out. What is the actual equation? Okay,
You wrote it.
What did you get?
4/5, negative 4/5. Well, I got negative 0.8,
Oh.
I turned it into decimal, I mean, not fraction for maker.
okay,
Y equals.
so I looked around at most of yours and most of you did well. You can put any point in, like you could have went and put this point in. You could have put this point in. It doesn't matter which point you put in, but if we have the slope, we go back to the original equation, put the x and y value in for our point, find b. So when we did this, I put it in. This would be positive 4/5. So when I subtract it, it will be negative 4/5. And so then y is equal to negative 2/5 x minus 4/5. And so that's our answer for that equation, okay? So we're putting things into here that work for both sets, but you have to, it's practicing over and over and over, getting that slope intercept form. Okay, and that's what we're actually doing, okay? So for tonight, one of the things, or part of your homework, is to take, and you're going to list from here, so this is part of your assignment, is give me pairs of vertical angles. B, pairs of alternate interior angles. Pairs of alternate exterior angles.
How many pairs of interior?
I don't know, you'll have to find out.
No, you said 3.
No, I just said
Oh, okay.
B
Oh.
and C, not 3, C. D is pairs of corresponding angles. E is pairs of same side inferior. Okay, and then D, F, sorry. F, I want you to write as many statements of two angles equaling 180 degrees. So what I want you to do is write as many statements as you can come up with of two different angles being added together to make 180 degrees. Okay, so we're all looking at these angles here, the 1 through 8. Okay, you're identifying those things, and then at the very end, I want you to write as many equations you can where you add two angles and you get 180 degrees using these 8. Okay, I don't want you to use other angles, I want you to use these. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're looking again at alternate interior angles so that we can find those. Okay, I'm gonna again, well, I think this is on here. Let's make sure it all shows. That shows, I think it's all showing. Go down just a little bit. So it's on our thing, and you can start working on those things right now. There were 2 different assignments I gave you. One from the section before on one side of your paper, it was with the different figures. The second is here on, all you have to do for this section is just list A through F and give me answers A through F, okay?
So we do that on a new piece of paper.
You can do, yeah, I would do it on a new piece of paper, yeah.